Could surveillance videos bring down the big blue wall of silence, the code infamous for protecting abusive police? All over the country, it seems like the criminals they're supposed to catch, police officers themselves are now getting caught on camera more and more. The remarkable dumping to the ground of this wheelchair-bound paraplegic by airport police who wanted to search him. Or the police officer, while interrogating a woman arrested for drunk driving, who switched the camera off. Once it's turned back on, the previously unharmed woman was now lying in a pool of blood, the cop later claiming she slipped and fell. And now, watch as a police patrol car camera takes us inside the code of silence. It's early one morning in 2004. A car weaves down a Kentucky road. Suspecting a drunk driver, Officer Adam Brown pulls him over.
Sir, what's going on tonight?
But suddenly this routine traffic stop becomes a morality play.
Mr. Crank, where you work for? Newport PD?
In fact, he's Sergeant Mark Crank, a fellow cop from a nearby police department.
Mr. Crank, how much have you had to drink tonight, sir?
Couple.
Okay.
Crank is slurring his words, and according to Officer Brown, he reeks of alcohol. Yet he seems to appeal for a break.
Talk to me now.
What would you like me to say?
Oh, come on now. We're cops now. What?
Officer Brown then steps back to talk privately to his backup.
And you know what? Quite frankly, I really don't care that he's a cop. He was going to kill somebody or kill himself.
Still undecided about what to do, Officer Brown calls his supervisor to the scene.
Hey, I recognize you. Why are you putting us in this position?
I prefer not to.
Yeah, but you did. And that's what's got me pissed.
Protecting your own is not some hypothetical. It's real and dangerous for those who break the code. You can hear it in the voice of Officer Brown and his supervisor as they discuss the implications of arresting a fellow policeman.
You're right, it's a catch-22, and it would stir up a hornet's nest.
Whatever you want to do, I'm going to support it. What we should do is the right thing to do, the moral thing to do is treat it the same as any other DUI.
Why not? DUI.
The supervisor departs, leaving the final decision up to Officer Brown alone.
You have put me in a horrible situation tonight, one that I pray that you never find yourself in. I am faced with a moral dilemma.
I've been in that position.
Okay? What would you do? Honestly.
If I was in that position?
Yes, sir.
I would make sure that that officer had a way home.
Okay? So you feel like we should allow you to break the law and get away with it? Why? Because you're another officer?
No. One thing, I haven't crashed a car.
But Officer Brown is still struggling with the consequences of letting him go.
First of all, you're on tape right now. Every bit of this is recorded. You have any idea what would happen if this tape got into the media or got out in the public? You have any idea what would happen? I'd lose my job. My job would be history, gone.
And in the end, Brown confides to his fellow officer he can't bring himself to make the arrest.
I can't do it. If I do this, if I hook his ass, I can kiss my career goodbye. I can kiss my job goodbye. I've got 3 kids at home.
So after almost 50 minutes of agonizing, Officer Brown upheld the code of silence, even though he knew he was breaking state law. He let his fellow officer go, allowing the drunk driver's supervisor to drive him home. Sergeant Crank does eventually get a slap on the wrist, a few days suspension without pay. But after the video was leaked to the local media,
this DUI stop stirred up controversy.
A prosecutor picks up the case, and Crank was ultimately convicted of DUI. As for Officer Brown, he did keep his job.
You feel like you're betraying somebody.
Rory Gilbert, a counselor who's treated hundreds of cops for alcoholism, says what we just witnessed shows just how difficult it is for police officers to take a stand.
Well, alcohol is just part of the police culture. And so for that one officer to be the one who's all of a sudden going to be the hero and buck the system, I can't be critical of that person.
Why does looking the other way matter? Well, in Chicago, drunk driving off-duty police officers may have killed at least 5 innocent civilians over the last 3 years. To get our own look at police drinking and driving, 2020 launched an investigation staking out police off-duty hangouts, along with a civilian watchdog group called the Police Complaint Center. We repeatedly found alcohol flowing freely at softball games, even at this fundraiser held ironically on behalf of a fellow police officer convicted of a drunken assault on a civilian. And of course, bars. While some had 1 or 2 drinks, others consumed round after round before heading to their cars. We don't know if they are legally drunk or if their driving may have been impaired. Inside this bar, a popular hangout for Chicago police officers, the officer with the backwards baseball cap polishes off 1 bottle and starts on a second. He buys the next round for the table and soon moves on to beer number 4. That's followed by a shot at the bar, another beer, and another shot for the final toast of the night. At least 7 drinks in 2.5 hours. No one objects as he heads out to his pickup and drives away. We try to follow, but he sped away. Next, same bar, different night. A 2020 producer chats up an officer as he drinks. He jokingly tells her he's a good drunk driver, then tells her he's not drunk, just buzzed. After a few hours of drinking, he too gets into his car and drives away. Remember, these are police officers, sworn to uphold the law on and off duty. This group told our undercover producer that their buddy had too much to drink and would not be driving. We saw him drink 4 beers and 1 shot in less than 2 hours, but no one tried to stop him as he left in the early morning hours and weaved down the freeway, struggling to hold his lane more than once. Finally, it was time to ask some of these cops what they were doing. After watching this officer drink 5 bottles of light beer in 2.25 hours, and this one who appears to down 4 mixed drinks, are they impaired? We decide to meet them on the way to the parking lot to ask. They headed toward their cars and clearly unlocked them with their remotes. But when confronted by 2020 and asked if they were really going to drive, they turned and walked away.
Oh, we're gonna go get tacos first. So you wanna come to tacos?
Well, you were heading toward your car when I saw you.
No, I was going to ask him to go for tacos.
Demonstrating that cops are being watched on and off duty with hidden cameras, surveillance cameras, and network TV cameras. But still, the Chicago police superintendent's message that the rules have changed and everyone is watching has not reached the entire force.
The days of giving people a pass, the days of taking care of folks, it's over.
That would be good. If you want to see more of those videotapes, visit our website at abcnews.com.